Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier chat, call-ins, and discussions. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me, my co-host, Wolverine. What's going on, brother?
Hanging out, man. Hanging out. How's your Tuesday going?
Oh, it's fantastic. I have a pinched nerve in my sciatica, so
man,
I have this cool cane now to walk around with. So,
oh Lord,
it's fantastic. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Other than that,
now you're even wiser than before.
That's right. I look wiser with the cane. Yeah. So this is the call-in show. If you guys watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously we're going to be talking about spoilers on this. So if you have not watched it, make sure that this is the spoiler alert section here. If you're listening to my voice and you can't see the screen right now, there's things flashing on the screen that say spoiler alert. Okay, so make sure you don't listen to this episode if you don't want to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form. Chat, if you want to call in. I mean, this show on Tuesdays, regardless of what show we're doing, if it was The Mandalorian, if it's The WandaVision, if it's Falcon and Winter Soldier, if it's Loki, if it's whatever, Tuesdays is about you guys asking questions in chat, calling in. So if you guys want to call in earlier and have questions, speculations, we're here to talk. This is what it's about, right? So I have a couple questions. I think Wolvie has a couple of questions as well. So so my first question is, who's the villain? Who's the villain in this episode? Not this episode, but in the series, right? Who is the villain? Who do you think the villain is?
Like I said, I think there's a power struggle from last episode or of our review, that there's some sort of power struggle between the power broker, his reluctance to not go after the flag smashers in a more rapid pace, because apparently that individual or individuals is after the flag smashers for what they took, and they say it's an antidote, but I'm more under the means that it's probably some sort of enhancement super soldier serum, for the lack of a better term.
Right.
And then we have Zemo, who's just been mentioned at the end of the episode, and we all know where he stands. I doubt even 5 years within a blip could have changed the way he feels about certain things. So
sorry about that, guys.
I definitely feel he's going to be the most obvious of villains. When he does get his chance, they'll want information, he'll want something in return, and then that something in return will be the means for him to escape. I'm sure there'll be something like brushed right underneath our nose, and that's how he'll use as his means to escape. But where I'm going, I like I said, I still feel that he is the most obvious villain, but there's still others that haven't been shown yet. The power broker in a more obvious way, the flag smashers on where they stand,
right, and
then the one where we think might hit home the most, the allegiance and the intentions of John Walker as Captain America. And he walked off in the final scene, "Stay the hell out of my way," and it was left you with a bitter taste in your mouth. You're like, man, he's just talking to two dudes that just basically fought aliens. Right. That's kind of where I stand. We can't put our thumb on it quite yet, and that's where our speculations is kind of drifting, and I like that. We're not in the crazy realm.
Yeah, this is not WandaVision yet. Yeah, this is not the WandaVision era, right?
Exactly.
I believe, along the lines of what you're saying, I honestly don't see we've seen the villain yet in the show, right? Like, it is someone that we haven't seen yet. That's the villain, right? If it is the power broker, if the power broker is Ross, right? If it's, I know Zola, maybe in the background, maybe it's Hydra, in the underneath. Who knows? At this point in the 2 episodes that we have a juggle act going on right now, right? We've been introduced to the flag smashers. We've been introduced to John Walker. Our villain this week, That's what we should say. Who's your villain this week? My villain this week, obviously, is the Flag Smashers in this episode, right? But I do believe that it will shift next episode to Walker and the Power Broker. And I think those two will combine as meaning the Power Broker is going to get in his head and make Walker lose his mind, basically, right? Because he's gonna talk him into a bigger picture of how strong he could be and how representative he could be. You know what I mean? Like he could be the man and no one could stop him type of thing. You know what I mean? Like take basically a vigilante, basically, right? That's what John Walker's going to become. I feel like he's going to be the bad guy for like 1 episode, 2 episodes, and then it'll shift again to like the Power Broker or Ross, and then we'll be left with a cliffhanger near the end of the season. I don't think we're going to. At the end of this episode, we're going to have a big villain, and I think it's going to be a continuation for like season 2 next year or something. I don't think it's going to be a full-ended closing of the series. You see what I'm saying? Like Wanda was sort of like a clean cut, but because they have the multiverse of madness going on, and also Spider-Man that kind of like fills that in. And I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe, is a 6-part series, and I think it goes into season 2. I don't think there's going to be that other connection piece in a film that connects this at the end of the 6 episodes.
More than likely so, and why I think that just seeing the Disney Plus setup in WandaVision, it was just episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and not season 1.
Right.
Episode 2 or episode 1 as we've seen so far. So it leads me to believe, just like you said, there's going to be multiple seasons. How this is going to play out in terms of like another season, that leads me to believe into a bigger picture with maybe even Ross, or probably someone we haven't even been introduced yet in the MCU.
I like what Grizzly said. No, Power Broker is old Cap. That would be some crazy. I mean, obviously, I don't think that's what it is, but that would be some crazy. Like, oh my God, like what are we talking about, right? That would be a oh shit moment of the series. Not even of just this series. That would be a mic drop of the whole Marvel kind of like cinematic universe if that was the case. I don't think that's it though, Crisby, but you keep throwing your crazy things out there. I like it.
He comes out of left field just to kind of get us talking about it. I think you just kind of want attention now, Krebs. The Power Broker could very well be Ross. I was thinking about that.
Right.
Just, from Gritter said it, Krebsy said it. It was just, it could be. No doubt about it. But the only way I can see him changing his, I guess, convictions to deal under the table or deal to the evil side, because clearly this entity, the Power Broker, from how we're made to describe about them, they are militaristic, but they're looked as other bad people or bad and enemies, whatever name you want to give in the negative light. That's how they're made to look. Enemies stealing from enemies. That's basically what the Flag Smashers were doing, stealing from the Power Brokers. Bad people stealing from bad people. This whole one world, one people thing is kind of like this cult following.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, and from the enhancements that they clearly have, it looks like they're trying to maybe administer that to more, so they have more of a movement.
Okay, well, the Power Broker, right? Who are they, or who is he, or who is she? Do we think it's a guy? Do we think it's a girl? Do we think it's a new character that we haven't seen before? Or do we think it's an established character that we just don't know, like you said, Ross, as the Power Broker?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I haven't seen much yet to think Ross. I think Ross will play a picture in this show, because basically everybody that we've seen thus far in this show, Ross could very well fit in. We've seen Rhodes. They've had plenty of interchange before in Civil War. in Endgame or Infinity War, excuse me. So, yeah, it's still yet to be seen who exactly the power broker is.
All right.
Whoever they are, I'm led to believe they have high access to a form of the super soldier serum. That's the biggest connection to let me think it is Ross, and how uniform and military like those people were at the airport. But at the same time, like Ross has been the character, and even when he was chasing after Edward Norton, and then when he made the transition over into Civil War and that continuity, he seemed like he was a by the book character. But looks can be deceiving.
Okay, well, let's just say it is Ross. Do they introduce Ross? And as obviously it's speculation. If they introduce Ross, do we think we get a narrative? I'm not saying this season, but they kind of mention like the Thunderbolts.
If Ross is in this, I think the next season will probably get close to that. If not, building up to the season 2 of Winter Soldier leading into She-Hulk, because more than likely I feel that She-Hulk.
Oh, see, I forgot about She-Hulk. Yeah.
I feel like Ross is going to be involved in She-Hulk.
That could be a cross promotion with the Falcon and Winter Soldier into She-Hulk, and same with that. We already know Banner. We already know Hulk is going to be in the She-Hulk series as well.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's everything's kind of spider pattern right now, but like I think this is where we were just discussing before we went live about this show doesn't really lead us to dive down the rabbit hole, but this could be one rabbit hole where we're leading into with this show in this realm. We know where the Supernatural's going. The Supernatural is leading into a conflict in Spider-Man, leading into the multiverse.
Right.
Where's this conflict leading into? That's my question. I don't think that has really been presented itself. I don't think what's going on in this show, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and what's going to transpire at the end of it is going to have anything to do with what we just saw in WandaVision and leading into maybe even Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Right.
I think this is going to have its own chain of events and story plots to fall back on.
Right. So like when you're watching Spider-Man, or you're watching, well, Black Widow's a prequel, but watching the other stuff that's coming in the future, in the back of your mind, like, while this is happening also in the background, or it's its own, like you said, like a spider web of directions that we're going, right? Like they might speak or bring up somebody, right? They might take someone from this show and bring them over to that show or movie or whatever. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. This takes place 3 months after. So like Rhodey showing up in this series, right? Obviously he's got War Armor, right? Or what's that show called?
Armor Wars.
Armor Wars, that's what it is. Armor Wars, and then he might show up in another series down the road. He just brought up like She-Hulk might show up, or something. A character in here might show up in She-Hulk. I love the way they're branching off into these different directions and overlapping.
Yeah. Here's and this is where I'm gonna probably try to do my best of a comic connection. I've always been under the hunch and speculation that whatever was going to happen when we were supposed to get Black Widow was going to tie into this show. And then with the changes in Black Widow's lineup and us getting this show first, I still think they're going to find a way to make it work.
Even with the prequel?
Yes, because I think the main antagonist of Black Widow isn't going to die. I don't think Taskmaster's going to die. I think Taskmaster's going to live. And the timeline and continuity of that movie is right in between Infinity War and Endgame. What the events that are going on in that movie is in between what happened in Infinity War and then right before so many names, Black Widow dies in Endgame. So Taskmaster's around. I think Taskmaster gets away, and I think Taskmaster will make an appearance at the end of this. And I think Taskmaster is the one who trained John Walker, because John Walker was trained by Taskmaster to control Captain America's shield.
I like what you're going there, but here's the thing that Hollywood always messes up on, right? If Taskmaster, and we know he is in Black Widow, right? If he shows up in this series, we already know that nothing happens to him in that movie.
I think I knew that from the beginning.
No, I know that.
I don't think anybody walked. I truly, if people were fans of this or aware of this character, Taskmaster, I don't think anybody was going into Black Widow already had the preconceived notion that he was going to die at some point.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as far as the storyline goes, you would think he would be dead, right? Because Black Widow was supposed to come out before this. Okay.
Yes.
So if you watch that and you saw that she took out, again, we're speculating, right? But she takes out Taskmaster, and you're like, oh man, Taskmaster dead, and that's it. They run credits, end scene, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, the power broker in this show, 10 years later, okay, is Taskmaster. It would make 100% sense, and you would be like, oh, but now, because the way the world is, and Black Widow got postponed, if they show Taskmaster in this as the power broker, as Krebsy's saying in chat, okay, that's kind of like telling Darth Vader's the father in the trailer of the movie you're about to watch, right? You see what I'm saying?
You're right, but we're taking in a new technology. Everyone looks in leaks. This wouldn't catch me off guard, and it would almost be a way, because by the time this show ends, it's going to be time to start getting ready for Black Widow. If this show end with Taskmaster at some sort of scene, people would be so much more excited walking into, be like, oh, who's that about?
Of course, but you're telling a story, though.
I think it's at this point, if they do it in that manner, I think it would actually be kind of genius. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what they have in store. None of us know. We're clearly just speculating.
Right. Well, that's all I'm saying. If Taskmaster is in this series and they show him before he comes into Black Widow, and then whatever happens in Black Widow, you're like, well, I already knew that because I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. All I'm saying, as a story technique and them trying to pin all these things together, I understand there's a pandemic going on, and if it is the case that they ruin it this way, it's just wrong. It's like telling that Cade was dying before the actual content came out. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly, they don't have a problem doing that, because Andor is the perfect example
absolutely.
of that.
Well, yeah, because that's right. Because no matter what trouble he gets into, you know he's going to get out of it, right?
So clearly, they don't have a problem doing that.
And it's still a crappy story way of telling a story, right?
For sure. But again, I don't think anyone going into Black Widow, knowing who Taskmaster was led to believe that he was gonna.
Well, you're speaking though of someone that's a fan of the MCU, not just people that are just, like I said, moviegoers,
for sure,
right?
For sure. That's. I feel like that's what they're leaning on with a lot of these things now, especially when we're getting into things like the Eternals and stuff like that. People are going to be lost that aren't aware of these certain things, and that aren't, concerned with going online, reading, the e-comics and all that stuff like that. It's just, it's leading me to believe that they are reaching deep into, Easter eggs, content lore, and all types of stuff like that to tell a bigger story. And it's actually, it's really cool to be alive during the, this new phase of the MCU.
Well, these shows are meant to be, and that's why I like watching Marvel films. They're meant to be watched over and over again, right? Like, you miss something the first time, then all of a sudden you see this show and you're like, oh wait, this connects to that. Let me go watch that again. And then if you are a fan, or if you are not a normie, and that's not an insult to anybody, right? If you're a person that just watches the movie and moves on, or watches the TV show, and you're not asking the questions like, who's this, what's that, who's that connected to? The hardcore comic book fans, and I'm somewhere in the middle between a normie and the hardcore person. Like, I really like the MCU, but at the same time, I haven't read the comic book, so I'm in between of. I'm trying to catch back up as that geek or nerd that knows comic books going into the MCU. A lot of people, though, when telling a film, you have to make the movie or TV show based on people that don't know what the hell's going on, try to tell a story. And I just feel a lot of the stuff, they just kind of make drama, but then there's no there's no weight to it. It just pays off in 2 seconds. Like if they kill someone off, it comes back literally in the same movie. Or if they you know what I'm saying? There's no weight of dramatic stuff going on where you're like, oh my God. Like, for instance, if Black Widow in some way, shape, or form gets to come back, right, and they bring Iron Man back and Cap turns back to young, they don't leave things, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't leave things as concrete. Everybody can come back.
You know, and it's right in front of me, because this whole conversation and your and I don't want to say that you have a problem with how I said, but you're using from the movie thinking of Hollywood, but clearly Black Widow as itself was a whole false dichotomy of a movie, because we already knew her fate at Endgame. So anything that happens to her in this movie, we knew she wasn't going to die at the beginning. So So to see Taskmaster come at the end of the show really won't surprise me at the end of the day.
But wouldn't you be sad though if you saw him and you're like, I already knew it?
I'll be pumped. I'll still be pumped. Like A, because I was right, and B, because I wanted to see him in there. I thought even if we got Black Widow I thought he was going to play some representation in the show, especially when we saw a U.S. agent. How did he? It's kind of almost making perfect sense now. How did he learn to throw the shield like that?
Right, well, that's my next question.
That's not something taught by someone. Like, who else knows how to do that? Maybe he met up with Taskmaster. Maybe Taskmaster has been working with Ross or the agents or the government training Walker the entire time. Like, that's kind of where I got my head thinking, especially when we saw how Walker was throwing the shield. And if that's the case, how efficient he's throwing the shield, on top of the fact that if he did get some portion of a super soldier, like appetizer, cocktail, whatever we want to call it, because I think what's going to be the breaking point for Walker is whether or not, in my mind, I'm treating him like how Blonsky was in the Edward Norton Hulk. Is he going to be... I don't think he's going to turn into an abomination. Let me be clear. What I'm thinking is he's going to want more of the serum, and it's almost going to be like a steroided version of the super soldier, and it's going to make him just lash out in anger and create his own brand of justice. Clearly, from that comment, stay the hell out of my way. He's talking to clearly good guys as well, but.
Yeah, that's my next question is, and it goes for chat as well. Do you guys think, and I asked Wolverine on Friday's show, do you guys think that he has the super soldier serum in him? Because him throwing that, Wolverine brought it up, him throwing that shield, you're like, man, I mean, how long? Like, if you look at the scene, the time that Sam dropped off the shield and then did the episode, let's just say he drove from Louisiana, from DC, or from Jersey, wherever they were. Okay, let's just say a couple days passed, and he gave the shield directly. Like, as soon as they handed it off to the museum, right after Sam left, they gave it to Agent Walker. How much time did he have to practice with that shield? Because he looked like he had it for like a week or two, and he was like practicing like nonstop because he looked pretty damn natural about it. And is that because he's natural talent, he's athletic, or is it because he's got the super soldier serum and he's athletic, right? It enhanced his, right? Because when Steve was he didn't have any physique or anything, right? His nature was just being a good guy. He didn't have any natural athletic skills, but that super soldier serum made him into
enhanced everything.
Enhanced everything, where Walker could already have some sort of skill, and then they put the serum in him and he becomes enhanced even more. Like,
for sure.
What do you think, Wolverine? And what do you think, chat? And anyone that wants to call in. You can hit us up in the Discord over here, and we'll drag you into the show.
I've been under the hunch that he had some sort of serum even before this whole Taskmaster conversation. Just how he's handling that shield. We've only seen people at the level of super soldier, enhanced human, handle that shield in that sort of way. Cap, Bucky. I know we got glimpses of Sam utilizing it while in the woods, throwing it against the trees in the trailer. But you see that he's handling it like I don't want to say a novice, but he's learning. We're seeing the progression. We're seeing everything. Whereas we're being just thrusted by John Walker and him out there, just like you saying, like hitting stuff as it's moving, catching it, no problem. Like he was meant for that. Like if he knew how to throw it the whole time, that's where it either leads me to believe what we just said about him already having some sort of super soldier cocktail, or who trained him after having that super soldier cocktail, or one and the other. But we'll push the Taskmaster speculation to the side. We'll just say to my opinion, I think he had some sort of lower dose of soldier enhancing serum.
Yeah, I don't know. The way he was fighting on top of the trucks, it didn't seem like it, unless he.
They were fighting other super soldiers, though.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But even a feeling is that he was there to. He went to the fight not to get the Flag Smashers, but to kind of get in with Falcon and Winter Soldier. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he was more. He was more
tracking,
there.
He was tracking. Yeah, he was tracking.
Yeah.
He was tracking through Red Wing. That's how they had a location on them.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, though.
Why were they tracking because they knew the Flag Smashers were on the way, or were they tracking because
they were tracking? Yeah, I think they were tracking. They even said he followed them because they're the government. He's like, we're the government. We followed you because it's a government property, is what he says to him. Right. I think Walker and Hoskins came there as more of a, hey, look at us, I'm the new Captain America and here's my sidekick and we want to work with you, instead of these are bad guys and we're here to stop them. Right. They just happened to see that they went somewhere and like, why are they going here? Let's follow them and see, oh, they're fighting these masked guys. I really don't think it was like I don't think it's a setup as far as the Flag Smashers, but I think it's a setup of Walker and Hoskins getting there to kind of be like, hey, I'm the new Captain America. You used to be his sidekick. You could be my sidekick type of thing. And he was trying to go there to try to introduce himself, at the same time establish dominance over the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But they don't want anything of it.
I think he was just, I don't think he has any sort of like Hydra intent or enemy sort of intent. I think he definitely is a person who is being instructed. Now, whether that strays when he does get some sort of different dose of serum, that's yet to be seen.
Right.
But I think he was I think his intent was trying to get everybody under the same umbrella. Like, yes, I'm Cap. Like,
he's forcing it. He's forcing it.
Yeah, exactly. Being overly assertive, like saying, "Let's be on the same team." But then after the previous episode, basically stay the hell out of my way, he sees them as like, okay, they don't want to be in here. They want to stop me from being this new image.
Right.
They're trying to prevent me from doing the right thing in his mind.
Yes, respect is earned, not given. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you have to earn the respect, and he's kind of upset because they're not giving him that respect as he wanted it to. Gritter's with us here. Gritter, what do you think? What do you think of Walker with the shield? How he was a master at it with such a short period of time.
I think I want to say he has the serum in him, but I don't think so. Something tells me he doesn't. I feel like him fighting the Flag Smashers at the top of the truck, that just somehow I'm not convinced he has the serum in him. Like, you would say, okay, only super soldiers can fight them like Bucky did, but Sam held his own for a while too, and he didn't have any serum in him.
Right.
So I think if you're a good fighter, you can put up a fight. But so that the only thing that gives evidence is he threw the shield. That's the only thing, because like I can't. But then again, Sam is throwing the shield good too. In the trailers we've seen, so I'm like, is Sam going to get super soldier serum? That's the only thing that debunks that for me. Sam's going to throw it very well eventually as well. He's flipping in the air and catching it. Sam is. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I don't know.
That is true. Like, Sam doesn't get it unless he does get the serum later, but he doesn't. He's just a normal guy, right? And he knows how to operate the shield. But then again, there's been I guess he hasn't had the shield that long himself, right? It's only
Yeah.
been a couple of months, 5 months.
Yeah, and I think
6
throwing a
months.
shield like that, I think you have to be above regular human to throw that shield like that. You have to. It's about strength and the acute awareness and the acute reflexes and agility. All that came with. I mean, he had a good heart. What made Captain America was his pure. You know, I don't want to say pure, but his good heart. But that way he moved that shield. You know. I mean, he's not a Titan from Destiny 2, so he had to have the serum in him, you know?
Right.
I think Sam's learning in the same fashion that he learned when he took up the mantle in the comics. It was just something that he learned over time.
Oh, okay.
Being with Steve, fighting with Steve, learning his movements, taking everything down, and just absorbing everything. At the rate that Walker is doing it, it just seems abnormal. The blows, how Sam fights and then how we see Walker and Bucky fight, I think we could put into two different perspectives. Bucky is a super soldier, no doubt about it. And he's getting tossed and turned by this 135-pound girl dripping wet.
Yeah.
To think that they don't have anything and Walker's still able to stand toe-to-toe with them. Granted, he makes moments where we see, hey, maybe he couldn't, where he's hanging off the edge of the truck. But again, the accuracy, saving the buddy's life, it just, the overall balance he has fighting these, enhanced flag smashers, it only leads me to believe he's had some sort of something. He's not just a regular soldier. He's out here fighting with other enhanced people.
That's a good point.
But very well, he could just be, just like as you said, he could just be a very strong human with nothing in him. But at the same time, I don't know. I think it could be an on the fence thing. There are things over here, and then there's things over there that's a pros and cons.
Do you think this is something the show meant to leave kind of questionable? Like, do they want the audience to think, does he have the serum in him? Does he not have it in him?
Yeah, like I said, I think they gave him, and I'm going to make the comparison to the Hulk movie with Edward Norton when they gave it to the Blonsky character. They gave him a little bit, and then they gave him more, and he came back and he was flying.
Okay.
And where I'm going to think that they're either going to give him an initial dose if he doesn't have one already, or they're going to give him more when he loses the shield. Because we know he's going to lose it because Sam's practicing it. We haven't seen that yet.
I think, all right, I think that Walker is going to go up against the Flag Smashers one more time. He's going to get his ass kicked one more time. And then that is when the power broker doesn't care what side. He's just selling serum, right? He wants to even the playing field. So then that's when John Walker takes the serum, and then that's when he starts to turn, where he just can't control it. Like it gives him like anger management type of thing.
When does he lose the shield in that?
I'm not sure about when he loses the shield. I think he might. In this next episode, I think we're going to see the turn. Episode 4, I think he'll lose the shield.
I think he loses the shield next episode.
You think he loses the shield next episode? How does he?
I think Falcon. I think Zemo and whatever plot they have to find out where exactly they need, they're going to realize they need to get the shield, and they're going to get the shield this episode.
I think they get the shield either at the end of episode 5 or the last episode.
So he's practicing it with the very end. We think we're gonna get some WandaVision. That's a good prediction. I like that.
I think that episode 4 is when Walker loses the shield, and he loses it because he turns bad, and Falcon basically they fight. Hoskins and him fight Bucky and Falcon, and that's when they take the shield from him, right? I think that's what happens. Episode 4 is when that happens. I don't know how and what type of way or shape or form. I do think there's some fight. I don't think they're just going to blatantly steal it from him, right? Mm-hmm. I think Walker has to show some sort of aggression towards something, and then the government, I don't know, maybe he goes AWOL, or I don't know. It's something because he is a government guy, and even Sam says it. How are we going to take the shield, right? Because Bucky says we need to take the shield, and he's like, well, last time we took the shield, we were running for 2 years, and you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want that to happen again, so they have to have a way around that, and it has to be something that Walker does, not that they do themselves.
I'm really thinking, when are they going to fit in? Everything that we've seen in the trailer so far have been in the first 2 episodes. Everything. And pretty much some of the only stuff that we haven't seen yet are the interactions when we see Zemo when they're dropping the bullets, and then Sam practicing with the other shield. And then now I'm thinking of the instances with Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they are going to be as bold as to put ending scenes again in the last, but hey, they could pull the rug right from under our feet, just like they did in the last series that we just watched.
Yeah, I think the way the series is, I don't think it's not going to be as just clean cut, like, here you go, Falcon, you're the new Captain America. I think it is the last episode type of thing that we see him suit up, like chat's saying. Cribsy, let me bring you in. He's probably got some grenades to toss in here, so let me what's up, Cribsy?
I got to jump on a grenade like Cap.
Right, what the hell? What's going on, Cribs?
So, do we think that Zemo is going to help Bucky and Sam get the shield from U.S. Agent?
Well, that would make sense, because if Zemo takes the shield, then Falcon and Winter Soldier are not, are going to be hunted down by the government, but Zemo would, and he doesn't care, right? Because he's already on the run anyway, because they're going to be breaking him out. But I guess
have something crazy.
But I guess if they break him out, I guess they're on the run for that anyway. So
I think they're going to get the shield to utilize to break out Zemo.
I could see that too.
Why would they need the shield to break him out?
They need something else to protect him. I think that would be, they have guns. The shield is perfect. Like, we got to get the shield. So one of the things that Bucky said, we got to get that shield back. I think we're going to get the shield scene, and that is probably what's going to drive another set of serum into Walker to, like, I need more. I need to fight these people. I need
right. He's going to turn into a junkie. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think he, like, we see that, like, animosity, like, stay out of my way. Like, that was like all I needed to say. I was like, okay, that's who you are. Like, that's the character. That's what's going to make you the speed bump for Bucky and the Winter Soldier. For Falcon.
All right. Well, then I got an idea. What about if Walker just doesn't take the serum because he has to take the serum? What about if he gets really badly injured?
Okay.
Right?
I think he already has the serum.
I think so too. I think he had, like I said, like some sort of cocktail. Like, they gave him something. Like,
okay,
they made such an emphasis to say, like, they've been studying your body and, like, everything like that. They must have gave him something to study his body.
What if he gets injured though, and then he needs a different type of serum to save him, and then that's what makes him go mad? Instead of physically just taking it himself, he gets injured, and the government gives him a different dose.
My question is, what's going to injure him to that point? The last time that what you're describing, where they had to give someone an injury and they gave him something, was like how in the Hulk movie, it was Hulk hurting Blonsky, and they basically, the serum healed him.
I don't know.
Right. They're not ashamed to go back to the same trope.
For sure, but the Hulk's not in this. Like, the Hulk's not going to hurt Walker the same way anything in this continuity is going to hurt him, like how Blonsky was.
Well, this is why I don't think he has a serum. Go ahead. Sorry, Gritter.
No, you're fine. No, I'm thinking it would not make sense. When I say realistically, I know it's a Marvel show, but realistically, it would not make sense for the government to have awareness of soldiers running around like flash smashers. And because this puts in play, there's people with serums. He got a serum. She got a serum. Everyone's got a serum. Whether you're a good guy, good, faction or bad faction, turn into the Oprahs of who got a serum. So the government's like, we got to give this guy a serum. It would make no sense to put a guy with no serum against these people with serum, but we want him to be the face of a new movement for whatever drug they have.
Exactly. Like why would they give this guy the shield of Captain America, everything that Captain America stands for, and he's not even a super soldier, even close to what Captain America was? It seems kind of silly.
Sam doesn't have any of his powers, and Cap was going to give it to him.
Sam is a different category because it's the same kind of philosophy of it being passed down to him like it was in the comics. Sam's an Avenger.
No, I understand that, but
when Sam was given the moniker, and even in this instance, you could say Sam deserved it. He fought in the world trying to fight to get Bucky. He basically fought in a war in Wakanda, came back to life, and fought in another war against Thanos. I mean, in retrospect, he fights in the same manner in truth and honor as Captain. So I think he stands out from the needing of an actual super soldier, because what we know from the character from the comic is that this character had an enhancement and was stronger than what Captain was.
Now, also, 30, what you bring up could be also credence to why the government does not want Falcon to be Captain America. They don't want to give him the serum. They know they have to give the serum to someone. They don't want it to be him.
Well, that and they and they don't have anything against him, right? The government is the government. They want to rule over you because they have something on you, right? And
that's true too.
They can't control Sam as of right now, right? So
exactly.
Well, there's some evidence saying that U.S. Agent does have the serum, because the dude at the beginning of the episode had no beard, and at the end he had a beard, which means he grows facial hair rather quick.
So does my friend from high school that was Brazilian, but hey, I don't think he had any super serum in him.
You don't know. He might have.
Don't let me go a day without shaving now.
That's right. So I don't know if that's... Look, he's not U.S. Agent right now. Right now, he's Captain America, right? And I think what you guys forget is that you guys are comic book fans and you already know stuff that's going to happen because it's based on the comics. What we're watching right now in the show, he is not U.S. Agent. He is John Walker, Captain America, right?
Now, 30, I'm like you. I'm not a comic book buff when it comes to the Avengers.
So you watch just for what it is, what the story they're telling, and he's not U.S. Agent. He is Captain America. So maybe your guy will have serum in him as U.S. Agent, but I don't think he has any right now. I don't see any signs of it. Like, there was no signs that he had.
His whole introduction was enough for me to at least believe, to give the perception.
Yeah, but they didn't even show one frame of him being strong and doing something. He got his ass kicked in 2 seconds. Besides showing that he could throw the shield and he used a gun, and
Bucky got his ass kicked too by the same types of people, and he's a super soldier.
Right, but when Bucky got kicked and stuff, he held his own. He could help hit him back. Walker didn't really hit anybody back. He was shooting guns and
he was fighting. He was still fighting. I mean, the gun thing. I don't. The gun thing was just a military callback to how Cap fought. All I felt that was, but I still felt that he was standing toe to toe with those and still finding the time to save the friend. That didn't look like a normal human reaction. He threw a shield while a truck was probably going 65 to save another guy that's probably 195 pounds, maybe 205 with armor on. I mean, all I'm asking is you have to leave yourself open to the notion that he could have something in him. That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is they have to tell the story, and they didn't show one evidence on film that he had some sort of... Of course they do.
No, I don't think they need to show... They didn't show us Agatha until episode 5. They didn't need to show any of that. They left hints that she was up to something, but
you just said it. They showed... Yeah, but they showed hints. They didn't show any hints. They didn't show any hints.
I think I just gave a pretty good one.
No, you just assumed. You just assumed.
Again, that's not something a normal human would do. Anyone else that we've seen make those sort of reactions have been an enhanced individual, an Avenger type individual.
Now, 30, remember now when Bucky first saw, I can't remember her name, the female Flag Smasher leader, he
Carly.
had no idea. Carly. He knows the Flag Smashers are strong because I think Sam told him, but he had no idea she was one of them.
Right.
So
And
his guard
his guard was down.
yeah,
He got fucking kicked in the chest and
Yeah.
got booted out of the truck, right? Yeah.
Three of those dudes were holding him on the truck,
Yeah.
though.
So when Walker, who's never properly fought one of them, he has no idea what to expect if one of them lands a proper kick on him. He got flown back just like Bucky. So under that logic, it is reasonable to say he probably, he could still have, serum in him just like Bucky did, if,
For sure. And I'm fully capable of thinking in context of thinking he doesn't have it either, because they've given us hints that he has it. Clearly, when he's hanging at the edge of the truck, there was emphasis on that. Like there was an extra take of him hanging there and then having to pick himself back
Right,
up.
but the way he pulled himself up was someone that didn't have serum. If he had serum, he would have just
made a serum type throw to save the dude. Like that's where I was just like, come on, you like you think anybody can make that throw? Like,
if you just you just saw him chuck the shield ahead of time, right? You don't have to be super strong.
We saw him chuck the shield at stationary targets, not at a buddy falling off.
No, I understand that. Yeah, but like I said,
that's what leads me to think that he has something.
He just has skill. He just has skill.
I think it's more than that.
He's still a trained military agent.
I still think it's a little bit more than that. We haven't been shown a true picture of his initial training and the studying that they did of his body. They said it, that the woman said they did all kinds of tests. They studied your body, that you're ready for this. Like, I think that there's something that was given to him to give him that extra one up. And maybe he wants a little bit more, or maybe he didn't get any at all. Clearly, with these examples that we got in this episode, in this truck fight, the truck fight made me think two ways. With the hanging on the end and then the saving of the buddy, I'm like, man, like
I would agree with you with the hanging on the truck if he pulled himself up like he had serum, like he was super strong, right? But he didn't. He pulled himself up like he was just a normal guy hanging off the side of the truck that just got.
I've seen Cap pull himself up like that before.
I agree. I don't remember.
In battle. Yeah, there's been battle where he's had to, pick himself up in a way that seemed a little bit like not super soldier like. I fully agree with that, for sure. I'm. It's not like I expected him to like use his fingers and hoist his whole body up. Clearly, that would have been like, all right, he's a super soldier. But again, there was moments in the fighting where it's just like, wow, like he looks like and fights like Captain America's super soldier. And then there's moments where like, okay, he looks like he's just a soldier wearing the outfit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one of those grenades on the field.
Go ahead.
What if Walker is working with the Flag Smashers, so that fight, the entire thing was like premeditated and they didn't want to hurt each other? It was just to make Walker look good. I
kind of said that a little earlier, hinting towards that, but I didn't think they were working together. I just thought they were following Falcon and them to kind of. It was just weird the way they landed, right? They like landed on the truck and they did that little fist bump thing, like power twins unite type of thing. Like, hey, this is just like a scrimmage match type of thing. You know what I mean? Like it looked set up a little bit to me to get them on the side of them.
How I read from them showing up, I think they had tabs, and I think they put two and two together. They were like, Sam and Bucky know something that we don't. Let's follow them and see what we find. And clearly that's what they found.
I mean, obviously, none of us are right or wrong because we don't know until they tell us, right? The way I look at any kind of film or movie, if they don't say a line, if they don't show a thing, then it's not established yet, or you're just kind of, you're hinting. And there was, to me, no evidence that he has super soldier serum in him.
It's also known as the Kevin Feige School of Water Cooler Talk for my TV shows.
That's right.
We had it for WandaVision. Now we got it for Falcon. It's like what can I do that pales in comparison to Wanda. I know. I'll make people debate whether this person had the serum or not. I love it.
I'm gonna have to look at that that fight scene in Ultron, see with Cap. But I just feel personally, and Wolverine could be 100% correct. I just didn't see evidence enough for Walker, and I feel like we're gonna get that moment where we see him with the serum and be like, oh, he didn't have it.
Let me be clear. I don't think he got what Cap got. I think he got some mitigated cocktail, one little shot.
Well, yeah, nobody's got what Cap got. They all had different versions of it. Hulk got different one. Wolverine got a different one. They all have different types
They've been trying to
recreate it.
Yes, they've been trying, and I think they've figured out something, because clearly these Flag Smasher people are walking around booting people into brick walls and creating a concave. So again, I think that they're the government in the continuity have some sort of serum. They think they've had something. They've been developing something the entire time since Cap's been thawed out, and they're trying to weaponize in some way. And I think they gave some little cocktail version.
Here's the perfect example, right? Bucky, he had it, and in the show, if you never watched a Winter Soldier or any other MCU with Bucky in it, with Winter Soldier in it, you saw him run after that truck, and we're like, oh, he's enhanced, right? You saw the Flag Smashers in the bank scene and on this truck scene, right? The bank scene, he boots that guy, and you're like, oh, he's got power. He jumped out of a window. They showed that he had power. They show Carly this, and on this, when she jumps up in the air and grabs Falcon, right, or Red Wing. Thank you. And they also show when she boots Winter Soldier out the back of the door, right? Like, they show these people with powers. At some point, they go, hey, he's got a power. Sam doesn't have a power. He's just really good at flying with the wings and the wingsuit and stuff like that. They don't show on film, with my own eyes, they do not show a moment of like that with Walker and his buddy Hoskins. They don't show any kind of ability whatsoever up to this point in the series. Every time someone has some sort of serum or has some sort of ability, they show you that they have that. And that would have been a perfect moment on a truck scene to show you if he had something, and they didn't.
30, I agree with you, man, because I honestly was looking for that. I was looking, okay, let me see where he's going to yeet someone off this truck. Like, like
anybody, even a peon. Yeah, somebody.
But the way that it was choreographed, you can look at it and believe he did not have that yeet opening on any of them. He did more blocking than anything. I think
what he did to save the friend was enough to lead me to at least think something's off. This isn't a normal soldier.
But he's not a normal. Yeah. But what I'm saying, he's not a normal soldier though. He's the top of the top. That's why they picked him for what he is.
Granted, but it's something that they did when they tested his body that we don't know. And then this is my hunch. I again, you're looking at it in one way. I'm looking at it in his capability with that shield. There's been only one person in this instance that has had the ability to take up that shield in that sort of way. And it's been Cap, and he's been a super soldier. And the only other person who has at least held it or grabbed it or caught it in that certain way has been a super soldier. Well, and that's been Bucky.
Yeah, when he caught it at that trailer scene in the movie. Ooh, that's still.
Well, even in the truck scene, he caught it on top of the truck. He caught it.
Well, what I was referring to the first time was when he caught it in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he just caught that thing. That I was like, woo.
Yeah, he did that on the truck. Bucky did it on the truck when he threw the shield. He grabbed it right out of the air.
Yep.
Oh.
I don't know. Chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys think put ones in the chat if you think he has it, put twos in the chat if you think he doesn't? Like, I think it's again, he might have it, but they still haven't showed any kind of proof that he has it.
Because 30, one of the sad things they could have done was show him for his first time out in the field doing a maneuver like that. And like how they normally do for some superheroes when they're trying some trick maneuver out for the first time, they haven't mastered it yet, they fail at it.
Right.
He could have thrown it and it would have slightly missed, and his friend would have hit the concrete and he'd be like, oh my God, I missed. And then he would have felt bad, and someone could, I don't know, but it's a little too perfect the way he threw it and saved his friend. That swayed me. Now.
It just made me think that something's up with this dude. Like there's something that we haven't been told about him yet. whether it's they gave him some sort of prototype of what, maybe not a full dose. They were stringent to give it to soldiers and before. But again, I'm fully capable of believing that he doesn't have it from even everything that I've seen at this point. That he's just a really, 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 really good normal soldier. Like when I say normal, not Avenger level person. But at the same time, I've been swayed, especially in this episode with that fight, to lead me to think that, hey, there could be something up with this dude.
Now, the Flag Smashers themselves, right? Are they linked to someone, or are they like freedom fighters? I know in the show they're showing us them as they're their own organization, they're their own cult of the people uprising or whatever. But do you believe there is someone behind the scenes of that, or do you think Carly is it? Do you think Carly is the leader?
I think Carly is it, because if they had someone higher they listened to, they would not be so concerned, or that person would have jumped in to do like interference against the people that intercepted them on the airfield. They don't have someone to swoop in and do backup for them that's way up. They're on their own. That's what I think.
If this antidote is an antidote, who are they giving it to? Who are they helping?
Do we think it's an antidote? I didn't think
that's what they use the word. They said antidote. So like what is it an antidote for? That's what's troubling me in terms of their Robin Hood type way of being. Maybe
to them, being a normal human and evolution wise, maybe the antidote to being a normie is that super serum, right? To be a weakling, the antidote would be the serum, which would make you super strong, where you don't have to worry about, right? Like you're evolving the population, right? So you think you maybe I didn't remember them saying antidote. Maybe I missed that, but if it's in that vein, I would think that they think that normal people are weak and we have the cure for them, right? The cure, the disease is being normal.
The linguistics of one world, one people just have completely thrown me off as something cult, and like where I'm like, all right, they can't win. If they win, it won't be necessarily good for all of society.
Maybe the antidote really is an antidote for people that were trials of the serum that failed, and I mean, could I never realized that the Hulk was given serum as well, like Cap? He's another, like, everyone keeps failing to be the next Captain America, but it looks like these group of people are the ones that are like, okay, we've done it, we have perfection, but we put it in the wrong people, or they stole it and they ran off with it. But there's other people that had it in them and they're negatively impacted by it. So that could be another thing, maybe.
I have to ask a question before I go down this rabbit hole. Does Carly have a last name?
Morgenthau.
Yeah, it's Morgenthau. It's based off of the
Carl Morgenthau,
which was in the comic books as the Flag Smasher.
Nope, that destroys what I was about to say then.
Almost reminds me of the name Morgana from King Arthur as well. That may be unrelated as to why she has the name Morgan, or that's part of her surname, but I don't know.
I did watch. I thought it was funny. I didn't realize this. I forgot that Carly, the girl who's playing Carly, is the girl who played the freedom fighter basically in Star Wars in Solo, and I totally forgot about that. And basically, the character that she played in that movie is the same character she's playing in this movie, right? They're an organization that everyone thought was bad, and that everyone thinks they're bad, but they actually are good guys, and they're actually good guys, right? They're just misinterpreted. I find it funny, and obviously I didn't come up with this. I saw another video that was talking about this. I was like, really? That's the same character? I was like, they're playing the exact same character from Solo as she is in this movie or this show, and I thought that was interesting. I was just like, man, being typecasted as a leader of a band of an organization that people think they're the bad guys, but they're there to help.
Do you think there's any way she could, at the end of this season, have an arc, her and her people, where they're either they know to stop what they're doing, or they become, want to at least help Team Avenger, and I want to do it the right way?
I still think we're missing, because the Flag Smasher in the comic is a guy, and this is a group. I think they're still missing the origin story, and they don't need. I don't need a full episode, but they need a flashback scene. They need something. They need her talking to Bucky or Sam, telling like what her story is. Like, why are they doing what they're doing? Right? They need, like, it all started after.
We're due for
right.
that.
It all started after the blip, and this is it. And I was being tested. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be that moment of clarity. Yeah. If they don't show that on film, sometime in this series, I think it's going to be a big detriment to what the character is.
Yeah, it'll be a disservice to the character.
I think someone will get captured. They'll interrogate someone and be like, "Why are you guys doing what you're doing?" Like, maybe just like you said, is like Bucky and Sam. They capture one and they try to figure out like what are y'all doing? Like, why are you guys doing this? And what do y'all have? And maybe it makes a sympathetic picture to us about them, but letting us know like we still this isn't the right way to handle it. Right. This way that they're going.
Right. You have any questions, Wolverine? You have any written down? I got all mine done.
So far, no, I didn't, because I came in with a pretty broad stroke of an impression of so far, because honestly, like I don't think I'm led, like I said before the show started, down the same rabbit hole that we were with WandaVision. I was asking so many things. I was leaving every episode just like, what about this? We were stuck on a friggin' beekeeper for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, because we were so dug deep on like, what did we just see right in front of us, and why did we see it, and is it going to come back in some sort of way? And this show can do that. I think it has that potential, but at the same time, I'm leaving every episode knowing that what we saw the previous probably was a closure. How the show added the Isaiah Bradley scene, and we already gave it its props last week, but we could say it again on how awesome that scene was.
Oh, yeah.
It was made the episode for me as much as the action, if not more, to be honest. Because you saw the emotion, you saw like how pissed off he was, and then you just to hear the back and forth he had with Bucky, and know that Bucky lost this dude, and Bucky had tabs on him, and always knew where this guy was, and even after the post-traumatic stress that he did go through of like the reprogramming with Wakanda, he knew all these people. He remembered all the shitty people. He remembered all the people he hurt, the young man, and then his father, and then Isaiah Bradley. Like, it's just, it's amazing. Like, there's so much more. I still hope they dive deeper into scenes like that, what we saw with Bucky, with flashbacks. I don't think we'll get one every episode like we got commercials in WandaVision, but Bucky's past, his present, and his future have become very interesting to me in the show thus far.
Real quick to answer Sven, he says, do you guys think, when they asked about the Flag Smashers and they said, you don't think they are, and he's asking, do you think they were referring to the word mutants? I don't. I think they were referring to the superhumans or super soldiers. I think that's what they were going to say, because I think the way Taurus asked, do you think they are, and they said, I'll let you know what, you know, and he cuts him off real fast and says, I'll let you know. And then he does say to Bucky, I have guys that are super soldier serum. He's like, well, let's go check it out, right? I think that's what he was going to say. I think he cut him off, didn't want to admit that it could be this, and then I think that's what he was saying. I don't think they were going to say mutants in that. Personally, what do you think, Wolverine?
Agreed. I don't think we're down the mutant hole yet. Maybe when we go into Madripoor, maybe we'll have
Bonerville,
that WandaVision. Yeah, maybe we'll have that WandaVision take again, where we're just like, well, what did those 3 claw marks on the wall mean? Like, what are we gonna do?
You know, Wolverine was here. Oh my god!
They would blow up the world if they like just walked by a wall and they just sat there and talked by it, and you just saw 3 claw marks.
Yeah, that would be it.
Just like it would blow. Everyone would blow up.
The internet would break.
It would be another boner. They might as well just put boner in spray paint right under those claws. But yeah, I'm curious about that. We know the origins of it in the city. Mike, you do a very good job to bring back the comic book expectations into movie theater, movie Hollywood reality, and at the same time, what are we led to think about this city, which was so prominent for mutant storytelling? Where, like, is this just a bridge? Is this the doormat to mutant storytelling and to the future of Phase 4? That's where I'm kind of like
Do we
curious
know
about.
which episode Madripoor is going to feature in?
No.
I mean, it'll probably be like episode 5 or 6. I mean, there's only 4 episodes left, right?
I have a few.
It might be 4. It might be 4.
starters.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, piggybacking off of what Wolverine said, so what if the Power Broker is Stryker and it's like the origins of Project X, and later on in the MCU we get like
I
full-blown
like that,
Wolverine?
dude. I like that.
That'd be really
You
good,
think the
yeah.
Power
I
Broker
like
is Stryker?
Can you, William Stryker, the guy who let up Weapon X? I love where you're going
That'd
with
be
that.
good, yeah.
Can you imagine if they use that and that's the connective source for him utilizing vibranium to make adamantium? Like
Yeah.
that's awesome, and that's obviously my bias talking. But I don't know. I don't know if they're ready to drop that bomb on us yet.
Well, I was gonna say, if they do that, if they bring Stryker in, does that make you tell you that there's mutants? You know what I mean? Like, is that
it definitely shows that they're willing. That, man, but that then I'm having to ask so many questions, like where does this William Stryker in this MC, does this follow an MCU William Stryker? Like that would just be so crazy. But to hear that name, definitely we are talking X-Men narrative character development.
That's the Luke Skywalker camera right there.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely up there in terms of a huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Like, whew, Stryker.
Yeah, because that person had definitely those people that took out that flag smasher at the end. They definitely were military like.
Okay, well, what about? All right, well, if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole, here I'm gonna throw a hand grenade. Okay, what about if the person is the Power Broker, is like Red Skull?
I was going to get into that.
How the hell did he get out of Vormir, man?
Yeah.
Cap went back.
But does he though? Because we put the stone back.
We don't know. Look,
No,
to be honest, we don't know anything we don't know anything at that point, right?
That would be dropping a nuke on top of a nuke if like Red Skull shows up, because again, like
this is a Captain America. I'm sorry, this is a Captain America show, right? Even if it is Falcon and Winter Soldier, Red Skull's one of the biggest baddies of the Captain America, brand. Yeah.
We didn't put the stones back. The stones actually were from an alternate timeline. The stones from this universe got disintegrated. So this Red Skull doesn't have a job to do.
Yeah, that's true. He's jobless. He's like, I need to go do something. I'll be in this TV show. Kevin Feige.
I think we broke Wolverine. His brain's thinking now. He's like, wait a minute.
Again, it's just like I don't know how they translate him back over to Wolverine.
I know.
That's a lot of storytelling like
So,
that. I don't know. I personally, I think we're done. I think the Red Skull story narrative, until they break
such a shame.
the multiverse, the multiverse theory, I think he's done.
I know the actor doesn't want to do it anymore, but if Hugo Weaving came back, you heard that
exactly.
voice.
And
it's like, hey.
And the voice actor who took on the role and did it, he did an amazing job. He's on The Walking Dead, I think that's why they got him to do it, because that was Red Skull's culmination, the end of the 10 years. I think he could come back in some way, but in this context, it's just the Power Broker. It'd be really crazy. But you're right, he is a Captain America A-list villain, but I don't know. I think we saw his story kind of unfold and close in the last 10 years.
I think you could, I don't know, because I like the theory you guys talk about with Ross, right? Because that seems like the simplest entry point. You bring Ross in, he's connected to the Hulk, he's connected to She-Hulk, he's connected to the Red Hulk, he's connected to a whole bunch of stuff, right? And now you're bringing up Stryker, and that just throws a whole mess into things where it would be awesome, but I think that opens up more questions than answers, where Ross kind of just slides right in and you're like, oh, this makes sense, right? This is pertinent, like right now, where if you bring Stryker, or if you bring I don't know, what's that other guy, is it Zola in, or if you bring like Red Skull in, that could be a whole webbing.
When you say Arnim Zola, do you think you're thinking his computer consciousness?
Yes, his computer consciousness. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think he might be gone with Hydra. I know there's a lot of fan theory, but I think that's Mace Windu's crumbs.
Do we think Hydra's involved in anything in here?
I hope not.
I don't know if there's been a new take on Hydra just yet. I think they're trying to start some sort of. I think we're Batroc, because we still haven't figured out.
Yeah, we don't know what he is. Yeah,
who hired him?
Right,
and where is
what's his deal?
Is he working for someone? Is he working for a greater big deal? I don't think they just put him in there to start off the show in the same coincidental fashion that they did Winter Soldier. I think there's more to the scale and why they brought George St. Pierre back to play that character, and he survived. He gets away. So. Yep. Clearly, he's going back to report to someone who.
So this brings up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me, and how it makes me think about how Kevin Feige may want to consider Winter Soldier as the definitive end of Hydra, because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra kept being bad guys. They never ended with the events of Winter Soldier. But if Kevin Feige really does not want to honor Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as being in lore as a canon, he may say nope. Hydra definitively ended in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, I don't think Hydra. I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. I said I don't think Hydra. I think they're going to go a different way. I just like to ask questions in chat to see what you guys.
Good, that's good. Yeah.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think Hydra's involved. Even though they hinted Hydra in WandaVision, I'm sure we'll get Hydra again in Loki or whatever. There'll be some sort of connection or something. I mean, do we think another organization? Do we think AIM is something in this as well? I mean, I know all these things could potentially be, but AIM is always prevalent in the background here.
I think this. Go ahead, Krebs.
Who was the dude who died in Iron Man 3?
Which guy?
The main villain.
Aldrin Killian.
Yeah.
Well, who was supposed to be the Mandarin?
Well, the fake Mandarin.
Well, I watched a couple videos, and some people made a good theory that he could be the power broker. But
okay.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole, because I want him to stay dead and
because you don't like the character. You just don't like that character.
The Iron Man 3 that wasn't that great.
I kind of want them to save the 10 rings for Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and we get a real Mandarin with that storyline for sure. It just sucks we're not going to see Iron Man fight the Mandarin like we used to with comics and cartoons. But no, that's crazy. No, I don't know. They're doing really odd ways to bring back Iron Man and what he's done and what Tony Stark has, the ripple effect he has on the future. They did it with Spider-Man. They're basically doing it with everything that involves technology in these shows. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's always someone in storyline that we harken back to.
Brain in chat says Walker wants power so badly, has a bad mission, is benched, is approached by Hydra offering the serum right now. He jumps at it and becomes Captain Hydra. I mean, I like these theories. I think U.S. Agent is the way he goes. I don't think he does Captain Hydra.
I am curious to see what ongoing movie arc this ties into. I do feel eventually, even if it's not ultimately revealed in this series, I think there's going to be a movie storyline that you can look back on and say that was foreshadowed in Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show.
Mm.
I have no idea what that property could be. Maybe it could be Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. I don't know. Or maybe the future X-Men, like years down the road, like, oh, that three claws, it wasn't a squirrel that did it. It was Wolverine. I don't know.
That's good, Sven. You think that AIM shows up with Armor Wars? That's
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, I have a question that I personally need answered. Who's Isaiah and his backstory?
He was basically the second Captain America,
Yeah.
and he was
He was the less respected.
black,
Yeah.
He was the first black Captain America, and he was lost in time with the same subjugation by both sides, clearly, and he said it that he was tested by both. And where he was fighting in the Korean War, and he had a run-in with Bucky, and he kicked Bucky's ass basically, and he tore off a part of his arm, which is crazy because we saw what that arm looked like, all mangled up after Tony got the blast refractor from his chest blown up onto it. So you can only imagine the amount of strength it took a human to do that,
Right,
to
to do the same thing.
type of arm. Yeah, it would be really cool to get a flashback of that fight.
Is that comic book lore, Wolvie, that he had the altercation with him?
That was it's played out obviously a little different, but they had a run-in with each other. Yeah.
So I
I
have a question about him. How come he aged, but yet I guess Steve would have aged too, but he was frozen for the majority of the time.
because remember Steve was Old Man Cap.
He was frozen. He was frozen for about 70 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, why did he get old so
I
fast?
thought about that for a moment too.
He was put in jail for 30 years.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was just wondering. I was like, wait a minute, why is he old and Cap wasn't old? But I forget that we saw Cap and he was frozen for 70 years, and then he came thawed out and he was in present
so we
day.
did get to see how Cap would have looked had he not been frozen at the end of Endgame. That's how he should have looked. Old Man Cap.
Yeah. I would like to see that. Obviously, they're not going to do it in this series. I would love to see what Bradley was doing when he was like a spinoff. I haven't read that series yet on the comic book, but I'm definitely going to now because they introduced him, and I was like, that sounds pretty awesome. I want to read that. Any other super predictions?
Predictions. What do you two think, Gritter? Tell us what you expect, hope, or want from the very next episode.
Okay. Just because I'm a hardcore fan of the TV series Revenge, I want Emily Van Camp to show up in the next episode. I want to visit Madripoor in the next episode. Okay. Of course, I want to see that. I know it's a lot, but I also want to see.
These are his dreams, Wolvie.
I know these are my dreams, and it may be a lot.
Dream on, brother. Dream on.
It may be a lot to throw in with the fact that they have to interact with Zemo next episode. Yeah. So I'm looking. I look forward to all three of those next episode.
For sure. What about you, Krebs?
I think that Bucky and Sam are going to contact Carter. Carter's going to help them break out Zemo. Walker is going to get word of it, go attack them, and try to keep Zemo in jail. But he's going to wind up either getting hurt, like 30 said, losing the shield, and setting up episode 4.
I think maybe they might have to go to Madripoor in episode 4. Maybe episode 5 if they extend it. I don't think Madripoor is going to be left for the final episode. I guess my hopes and or wants is a little bit more on the power broker. I want by the next episode for us to have a more of a detailed, more descriptive shape of who we think and who we are more inclined to at least guess the overarching villain of the show and or the series in going past this might be.
Do you think the power broker is going to be a jaw-dropping moment?
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. Unless someone comes out, I don't want to hear any more about it. Mark Hamill. Leave Mark Hamill out of this one.
Yeah, is Power Broker comic book lore, or is that something new for that series?
No, it's part. No, it's part of there. But it's
Okay.
always been someone who's it's been a character that just literally, as it says, power broker, distribute power. It's a business type person.
Kind of like Dr. Claw,
commerce.
Inspector Gadget. You never see the face, just a hand.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, basically. No, I wouldn't call him as like overall arching, scared as we are of him, but basically he's not like the big brawn guy. You're not going to fight the broker. It's just the fact that he's distributing power.
It's like Kaiser Soze of the MCU. I love it.
My speculation is, one, obviously we're gonna get Zemo, the breakout thing. I think Krebsy is talking about Sharon helps them. I think Sharon happens to cross paths with them because of what they're doing, but not on purpose.
Okay.
Right? I think that's how she gets introduced, and I made that sigh when Wolverine brought up Madripoor. I said last week that this is episode 3, so technically this is the mid-season point, and usually during mid-season points they make there's a big like introduction or something that happens. I think at the end of this episode we might get Madripoor as that they're going there, but we won't go there. Mm-hmm. Maybe Walker, like I said, gets injured in some way, shape, or form, and Madripoor comes in effect because that's where he has to go to get what he needs, or whoever, to save him, to turn him into the corrupt Captain America or U.S. agent, right? I think that's where he gets the serum from, in some way, shape, or form.
I think we're led to Madripoor, and just as Sven said, because of knowledge that Zemo has. Zemo basically tells Bucky and Sam, we got to go to Madripoor for whatever they're looking for, and Walker and Battlestar track them down to Madripoor, and maybe that altercation is how they get the shield back.
Something along the lines. I think Madripoor will be the cliffhanger at the end of this episode, and then going into episode 4. Yeah. So I think the big things in this episode that will happen are, obviously Zemo's going to be more like a backstory of him. Sharon's in this one; she'll have a bigger backstory with her, and then we'll find out this is where Walker like starts to go a little crazy because no one respects him as Captain America. Something's going to happen. Flag Smashers do something to him, and then he has to even the playing field because they are super soldier serum. And I'm saying what I'm saying based on, because I don't believe he actually has anything in him. And I believe when he does get it, it makes him go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
see, one thing I like about the fact that we've already seen majority of stuff shown in the trailers. There's so much we don't know that we get to see going forward. I like that mystery.
Oh, and we see the Power Broker. We know who the Power Broker is, and the Power Broker is in Madripoor. And that's who it is. We'll see like a quick shot or a name or something. Sharon was like hunting. Yeah, it's Magneto with Mephisto, and they're in a room together. No, I think Sharon is literally hunting down a trail of the Power Broker, and then that's how they connect, because Bucky and them don't know about the Power Broker yet. They just know about the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smasher is being chased by Power Brokers. Sharon is chasing the Power Broker, trying to find the Power Broker, and then this is how they cross paths. So that's my prediction for this episode.
Awesome.
Chat, we're here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, this Friday, I have a scheduling conflict, so we will not be doing this live on Friday night at 11 o'clock. So just like episode 1, we're going to be combining our review / call-in show next Tuesday at 8 p.m. and then we'll go from 8 to 10 or whatever, talking and asking questions, talking about overview of the show, and then doing call-ins next Tuesday at 8. So there is no show this week at 11 o'clock this week. Other than that, we are doing a Monday episode because King Kong and Godzilla come out, I think tomorrow, does it not?
Yeah.
So we'll be watching that and we'll be reviewing that on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday night. Yeah, so I think that's it. So no more shows this week. Monday, King Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus King Kong. Tuesday, we're going to do episode 3 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier with the call-ins that day as well. Krebsy and Gritter, appreciate you guys calling in. As always,
for having us.
And it's open invitation to anyone listening. If you would like to be on the call-ins just like these, if you just have one thing to say, a comment, a question, or just to say, hey, I didn't like the show, that's okay too. Come on, enjoy it with us.
Wolverine, let me ask: do other people have to subscribe to the network in order to get in this type of chat Discord, or can they just?
No, because the LFG portion's open to anybody, and 30 is able to just
I can drag you guys in
if they would like to ask something.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So I appreciate everyone coming out and watching. Wolverine, where can they find you?
Wolverine VZ on Twitter, Crucible Coliseum over on YouTube, Wolverine VZ on Xbox.
You can find me over on the Purple platform at 30 and Still Gaming. You can follow me over here on YouTube at 30 and Still Gaming. I stream Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 on the Purple, and from 8 p.m. to midnight over here on YouTube. Tonight we're doing if you guys like 8-bit wrestling, WrestleFest wrestling, we're doing Retromania wrestling tonight. You can vote on who you think is going to win. It's just a fun time. It's just AI versus AI, and we watch it. So if you guys like that, come on over. We'll be doing that right after the show. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Monday 8 p.m. and then Tuesday on this show at 8 p.m. next week. Have a good night.